Okay, third garden tour of 2025. We have the snapdragons here, which are still doing well. This is a coral honeysuckle in the back that's going to climb up this fence, and the goal is to have it block these windows. More snapdragons. The irises here, they were just planted last year, so they didn't bloom this year. This is another honeysuckle, but this one is going to be more of a yellow color. All right, we're also doing no mow May, so the grass, really the weeds, are quite high. But I've also seen like a lot of bees and stuff in it, so it was worth the experiment. So here we have a blueberry, and I'm not sure if it's the wind or what got to the blueberry, but it's dropped a lot of its actual fruit. So there's a couple there and a couple more over there, but there were definitely more flowers and more fruit on it before. And then this looks like we have some like dieback happening. It looks like there was some damage, so maybe I should prune this one like all the way back or something and get rid of that dieback. And then come over here. This is a newish pineapple, but I don't think it actually made it, so I'm gonna have to try a third time for a pineapple. This is the best blueberry plant. This one has just survived everything. It would look even better if I didn't kill half of it when I repotted, but it does really well, and there's actually a little ripe one that's on there too. Then we have lots of scallion there, and the Barbados cherry that didn't come back. And then we have this fig, which is doing really well. This is the first year I actually have fruit on the fig, and quite a bit of fruit, so I'm excited. Hopefully it holds on to all this fruit and it continues to do well. And then what we skipped, this one was out here during the last garden tour, but we skipped it, is over here. I have some sweet potatoes. These are purple sweet potatoes, and I grew the slips on inside and then put them here in the storage bin because I wanted easy harvest day, and the other pots weren't quite ready yet. So they're all in here. If we come over here, I did notice I have some bees kind of swarming right there. I'm leaving them alone though because I don't really come in that area. I don't really need to, and I figure they're pollinating the garden while they're here until they decide to leave. And then this is the cabbage. So a lot of damage was done here by some caterpillars, and I've picked them off a couple times. Like for example, this plant was basically like dead and I picked off the caterpillars, and then these new leaves got to come out and look good. Then I found more caterpillars on other plants and one of the cabbages, so I tried to pick them off there, but it's just been a battle, and I honestly think the caterpillars have won this battle. But I'm just really happy because I've never gotten cabbages even to this stage. Usually they die as seedlings, and I mean this one actually looks really good. Like this could actually form up a head of cabbage. Some of these are also supposed to be purple sprouting broccoli. Like I think this one's a purple sprouting broccoli, but I didn't really label anything. But there are two different types of cabbages, and then purple sprouting broccoli, and then here is also some sorrel kind of planted throughout the bed, because I figured once, we really get into summer, the cabbages will be done and then the sorrel can take over. And then I also put an African marigold in there, some flowers in there. We come to the next bed, we have a whole mixture of things. So we have another African marigold, we have a jalapeno with peppers on it, and they look a little bit different from what I was expecting. So I haven't actually tried one of them yet to see if it actually is a jalapeno or if I mislabeled something somewhere. There's a cosmos, that's a hollyhock, that's a scotch bonnet pepper. That pepper took about 6 or 8 weeks for just the seed to sprout. And so it's been a whole process trying to get that one going. And then we have a cornflower here. Now this pepper is really interesting. So it came up, it was doing really well, but when it was still inside, the base basically like rotted. And so I for sure thought it was gonna be dead when it came out here. And no, it's still very much alive. I'm really surprised. It's supposed to be like a Peruvian type pepper, which is a smaller pepper, but I just can't believe it's even still alive. And then we have that Turkish bell pepper here, and then a poppy, This is perilla leaves, which they use a lot like Korean food. And then I think the seeds are sesame seeds, if I'm not mistaken. But the flowers, I really like the flowers, and the bees love the flowers. So I'm mostly just growing it for the flowers. I have a zinnia back there, which I should probably pinch to make it more bushy. This is a shishito pepper here in the front. We have the coulis thyme, variegated version. I have Mexican oregano here, which is blooming. You can see the blooms there. Looks gorgeous. I wish it would stand up more. I was definitely expecting it to be more upright. I have a Spanish lavender there, which I'm thinking I'm going to plant there. I just haven't decided yet. That's why it's still in the pot. Another hollyhock, another Scotch bonnet. And then back in that middle is a white coreopsis. We have the regular potatoes here, which out of these three, two of these look like they're basically done. So I should probably harvest them soon. We're gonna have storms pretty much all week. We have garlic here, and then because I had some more sweet potato slips, I didn't want to wait any longer, so they're also interplanted in here with the garlic. So I'll pull the garlic out, and then the sweet potatoes can take over the rest of the bed. And then this is a regular potato. Well, they're purple potatoes. And then same deal over here with the garlic and the sweet potato. And these sweet potatoes are just regular orange sweet potatoes rather than the purple ones that I have in the other bin. This is a carrot that's going to seed. I'm actually really excited to see the bloom, and then I might collect some seeds and try and grow from there, because ideally it should be stronger because it's more adapted to here, because it would have grown like full seasons. This is a blue sage. These are beans, mostly, I forget what type of beans they were actually. Just beans I got at the grocery store, dry beans, and I just planted them everywhere to act as a, I'm going to cut it down and just leave it on there to break down and mulch. So they don't look great right now. It's also like middle of the afternoon, really hot, terrible time to be shooting a tour. But I wanted to make sure that I caught one between all the rain. But so that's why everything looks really terrible right now. Then once we cool down, they'll look a lot more alive. Especially here with this cucumber, it just looks really terrible. But once we cool down, it looks a lot better. And this is a Turkish style of cucumber. They get really big cucumber. And then here, the grape has done fantastic, coming all the way up and over. And it's going to also climb on the fence, which I'll let it do. And then I have another carrot there. And then we have another cucumber. And this one's taking the heat a lot better than the first one. It was a little bit bigger and stronger. It came out a little bit earlier. And it was bigger and stronger, more adapted to outside. I have another cornflower here in the front. And then behind it I have marigold. I have an African marigold up there. I have nasturtium. I have another Scotch bonnet. Then we have a eggplant. This is a Turkish style eggplant, I think. I think we went with a very Turkish theme this year. But I'm pretty sure this is a Turkish style one. Or it might be a ping pong one, which I think is a Chinese style and purple. So if I did terrible with labeling, but if it turns out to be purple, I'll know it's the Chinese one. If it turns out to be small little orange ones, then I'll know it's the Turkish one. And then right below it, there's a basil that's self-seeded. So I'm going to leave that basil alone. And we have another jalapeno back here. And then there's a huckleberry that's self-seeded from last year. I'm just leaving that one alone as well. And then another shishito pepper here in the front. And we have some African marigolds in bloom, doing really well. This tomato is doing amazing back there. I think this is the golden tomato. These I started from seed, and they're doing fantastic. Look at that. And then more cornflower. This is another pepper. This is the Turkish pepper here, the sweet pepper. This is a purple tomatillo, and I actually just tied it up today. So it was tipped down, so the leaves are more used to growing down, so they're gonna have to fix with the sun and stuff. And then there's another tomato, another golden tomato back there, also doing really well. Lots of fruit on it. And then here, way in the back, got some lemongrass. And then I have a zinnia here, which I should probably pinch out as well, but there's already a bloom, and I'm trying to ask myself if I'm committed enough to sacrificing that bloom. We have shishito here with some peppers on it, and then another jalapeno. And so this looks more like a traditional jalapeno. That's why I'm not quite sure what that first one was. We have a strawberry here, which is doing really well. And actually, we skipped over the strawberry that was over here in front of the African marigold. We have another African marigold here doing well, and some scallion in that bed. And we have the wild area with the fruit trees. It's also the orchard. So this is a dwarf Brazilian, Barbados cherry. And we can see all the blooms on there. It's doing really well. Actually really excited that I have some wildflower plants popping up in here. And I'm hopeful that if I kind of get down when to cut it and let it seed and all of that, that I will have even better success going forward without having to reseed every time. And then we have the pineapple guava back there. And then here is the desert willow. We're gonna come over here. So the pomegranate that was moved last time. And it's doing well, it's adjusting. Probably needs some water. I heard that I thought that they didn't like a lot of water, but I heard they actually do best with additional water. And then this is a little semi-wildflower, I tried to plant things up area. So it's all just kind of a mixture of everything, like these pin cushions. I planted those, and all the spiky leaves you see are peacock orchids I planted. And then this is a type of salvia that I planted. So a few of these things I planted, but then other things like this one were wildflower seeds. So we will kind of see what happens with each one. This one here I planted. So we'll see what happens with everything. And then back here is a plum tree. And then here is the pear tree. Still has the one pear on the tree, which is exciting. I mean, I just planted this tree in November, so I'm just happy to see any pear on it, honestly. I would have been totally fine if it didn't produce anything this year. If we come over here, this is really just the blackberry bed, and blackberry's definitely taken over, which I knew it would, but I expected blackberries this year on this cane. I thought this was the second year cane, but these haven't actually produced anything. And then these bigger canes have really come up this year, and they're just much bigger, much thicker than the other ones. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut out the other ones, especially since they didn't produce anything, and then just let these bigger ones go for this year. When they produce next year, they will get cut back, and then see what happens from there. This is another blue sage planted there. We have some onions here. And then there is a strawberry that's hidden way back there. That's a strawberry down there. And I almost feel like that strawberry has bigger leaves since it's competing with the blackberries. It's actually doing really well. This is a leek that's about to bloom. Now this is my third time. This one actually volunteered on its own because I didn't harvest its parent. And now I didn't harvest this one, so now this one's gonna bloom and produce more. But the bees and stuff really like the blooms. I think the blooms are pretty, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But at some point, I should probably learn what to do with the leeks and to maybe harvest them and eat them instead of just letting them sit there, because they take about 2 years and then they flower. So yeah, that's the leeks. And this bed we have more tomatoes. These I got at Home Depot, and we can see a nice big tomato there. And I got this one because it's kind of a heart shape. It's called like a Love Sunrise tomato, and so I'm really excited to see that one. It's a bigger tomato than the other side. Those are all just like cherry tomatoes. This is Korean mint. You can drink it. It's supposed to be good for your stomach and stuff like that. I really just like the blooms. This is a volunteer honeysuckle from last year. This is a stalk and it is blooming well. I didn't really get much blooms from it last year when I planted them, when I grew them last year, but this year they're really doing a good job of blooming. This is the white marigold. There's some nice flowers. It definitely has some damage on the leaves, not sure from what. Then we have white snapdragons here. And we have some scallion that's gone to seed. And this is another zinnia, which again, I feel like I should pinch, but I don't think I'm gonna sacrifice this one. And I do already see some side shoots, so hopefully it's okay to leave that one. This one I should probably definitely pinch. Both of these kind of volunteered on their own from last year's plantings. There's a basil back there. It's just regular sweet basil. There's an eggplant. Again, we will find out. Since the veins look so purple, maybe it is the purple variety, but we'll see. Here's another Scotch bonnet. And then there's a shishito. Look at all those peppers. It's covered, we get the weeds out the way, covered in shishito peppers there. Very exciting. We have a cosmos here. More scallion gone to seed. And then in the back there, we have a cucumber, which is climbing. It's doing well. It's really bounced back. It was not looking good earlier. It was actually an interesting one. So from the one seed, it came out with 2 sprouts. So it was really interesting. And then we have a melon there, which I wanted it to climb up this trellis, but I actually found it in the walkway a little bit ago. So I turned it back inside because when May's over and I do come cut, I didn't want to accidentally cut it. So it's in there. This I'm pretty sure is a weed that I should probably pull, but because it was like blooming, I was like, oh, I want to see what it blooms to look like. So we'll see. Then when we come into this bed, we have the lavender martini agastache, which I think, again, you can pick it for like teas and stuff, but really I like the blooms. We have chives. We have another pepper plant, and so this one, that's the Turkish pepper, also doing amazing. Look at how big those peppers are. They're doing fantastic. There's a zinnia right there, which I probably should pinch. I'm gonna have to just be brave and pinch a lot of these. We have more shishitos here. And we have this very large wild sunflower that just volunteered itself here. And we have the rose back there, which is done blooming for right now. Its first flush is already done. We have a strawberry down here. Some more huckleberry volunteers. You can see a bloom on that strawberry. Not sure what that weed is, so I'm waiting to see what it is before I pull it. And then the dahlia has done really well. And we have this very nice bloom. And more coming. This also feels like it's done really fantastic this year compared to past years, and it's early this year, I feel like. And then here we have more of the white marigold doing well, much better than previous years I've tried to grow it. This is another stalk with another strawberry down at the bottom, and more coulis thyme back there, or Cuban oregano. Have another pepper plant here. I think this is a jalapeno. And here is another stalk with its beautiful blooms. There we are. Stalk is also edible, but I don't plan to eat it. In the back there is another cornflower. Another great view of all the peppers on that Turkish pepper. We have some scallion And then that's basically it. We have this bed over here, which is all just, you know, where the irises were blooming. They're done now. There's some peacock orchids in here. There's some of these oxalas. They're really pretty and they're blooming right now. Lots of oregano. It's doing really well. There's more oxalas in there that are white. But that is basically the end of the third garden tour of 2025.